Hi, I'm Dani Carter-Iddens, creator of Taking Back You. My vision for Taking Back You was simple. I wanted to create a safe place for mamas to focus on the dreams that have been placed on their hearts, where they could walk alongside other mamas who get and give advice on how to do this mom thing. I want to tell mamas what I wish someone had told me, and to build a community of mothers who aren't afraid to reach for the stars, even while holding their children in their arms. Want to learn more? Visit takingbackyou.com, because at Taking Back You, we know happy moms raise happy kids. Coming to you straight from Indianapolis, aka the Circle City, this is the Taking Back You Momcast. The Taking Back You Momcast is a witty, authentic, and sometimes sarcastic podcast for millennial mamas who are in the thick of mom life. And I'm your host, Dani Carter-Iddens, wife, millennial mama, motivational speaker, and motherhood advocate. Hello. Welcome to the Taking Back You Momcast. Hi guys, how you doing? I'm Dani Carter-Iddens. I'm your host this week and every single week, and I'm so excited to be back. We had a little bit of a short hiatus for the end of the month of February, but I am back and I'm ready to go. I'm so excited that we are able to be together again. And this week we are going to talk about how to say no. So I know this is something that's really hard for a lot of women, and like saying no is just not in your wheelhouse. So I'm going to give you some really nice and I guess I would say constructive and kind of kind ways to say no, and ways to say no that you can still feel good about saying no, not feel guilty, I guess is more like it. But before we do that, I want to invite you, like I do every single week, I want to invite you to like this podcast, and I want to invite you to subscribe to this podcast. If you've been listening to us for several weeks and you're like, man, I missed you guys when you were on hiatus, then please, by all means, subscribe so you can get an automatic notification when we download a new episode. So, the other thing I want to do is I want to remind you that if you like what I have to say on this podcast, guess what? I can actually come and talk to your women's group. I can do a workshop for you. I can actually come and do a speaking engagement or a talk for you. So please don't forget, you can visit us at DaniCarterIddens.com. Visit me at DaniCarterIddens.com, and we can set that up. I am more than happy to visit you if you live in the central Indiana, northwest Indiana, or Chicagoland area. And if you don't live in one of those areas, that's okay. We can set up an online, like seminar or workshop or whatever. We can make it happen. So I do want to invite you to reach out to me if that is something that you would like. And like I said, please check out the Taking Back You Momcast if you haven't already. You can look us up on social media and online at takingbackyou.com, and we are found on social media at Taking Back You Social. So, saying no. Okay, so I have a lot of listeners that, listen to what I have to say every single week. And one of the things that I say very, very often is that you need to say no, when someone asks you to do something and you either don't want to do it, or you can't do it, or you don't have the time. You need the freedom to be able to say no. But here's the deal. They hear me and they're like, okay, you told us to say no, we got it. But I don't know how to say no without feeling guilty and without, coming off as rude or being mean. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to say no, ways that I say no, that, I actually never use the word no when I say no. And that's kind of the beauty of this whole thing. And it's just important to have this skill because we can't do everything. We're not built to do everything. It's just not possible, and it's not even really, I don't know, it's not good. And that added stress is not necessary. I think we feel like we have to do it, because especially as moms, we wear so many hats, and so we feel like we have to say yes to everything because we can't let anyone down. But part of that anyone is yourself, and so if you're taking on more than you can handle, and it's making you feel like you don't want to do any of the things, then that's when you have a problem. And so you have to kind of step back and realize, hey, I can say no, but there might be a better way to say no, so that I don't have to feel as guilty. And that's what we're going to discuss today. So first, before we get into how to say no, we're going to, let's just really fast explain why you might need to say no. So like I said already, you may have ended up taking on too much, or if you accept whatever this person is offering you, then that might be the point where you have taken on more than, you can chew. Another reason you might need to say no is this one, and this is very real. So if you don't say no to whatever someone is offering you and you end up saying yes, the problem is that you might be taking on more than you can handle, and then you might not be able to give all of the energy that is needed for whatever the person or the people ask you to do. And then when you fall short of their expectations, you're going to disappoint them. And so it's kind of a weird thing where you're doing it to, you're doing it to not disappoint them, but then when you're not able to give your 100% and you can't, and you fall short of expectations, they end up disappointed anyway. So you have to think about that too. Like, hey, am I going to be able to give this all of the energy and attention that it deserves? And if that's the case, then that might be another reason why you need to say no. And if something is offered to you that's honestly outside of your wheelhouse and you don't have time to learn or the resources to learn how to do it, then that might be another reason why you have to say no. Like, people can ask me to speak on a certain topic. They say, hey, Dani, can you come and talk on, I don't know why they would ask me this, but can you talk on, I don't know, physiology or whatever. I don't even know how to say it. And I would have to say no, because that's completely and totally outside of my area of expertise. I don't even know anyone who would know anything about that. So for me, the way that I would say no, and I would just say thank you so much for the opportunity, but that's just not something that I can do for you. But like I said, there's a lot of different ways to say no. So we're just going to talk about 5 ways to say no, because I like to give you just a few ways to do something. I don't want to over exert you or make it so that it's like super hard to remember, and so that when the situation comes up, you're not like, oh gosh, what did Dani say? What did Dani say? What did Dani say? So I'm going to give you 5 ways that are really simple, really easy. I'll give you examples. I'll put all of these examples in the notes for this episode so you can pull it up really fast. And let's get started. Here we go. Okay, so the first way that you can say no in a situation, and like I said, the brilliance and the beauty of each of these ways to say no is that none of them actually include the word no. So the first way that you can say no is you can cushion it with kindness. And it could look something like this. Thanks so much for the opportunity, but I have to pass. But listen, I just thank you so much for thinking of me. Okay. Now, you thank them for the opportunity. You told them that you couldn't do it. And then you thanked them one more time. We call that the positivity, the positivity sandwich. You did a positive thank you. You said, oh man, I'm sorry, the con. And then you said, but listen, thank you. And so, you're really smooshing that thank you in. Once again, thank you so much for thinking of me, even though I cannot take on what you're asking me to do. And listen, you don't need to explain yourself. Notice nothing about that way to say no had anything to do with, well, I would, but, my dog's cousin's first sister-in-law's brother, like, you don't have to give an explanation. You don't have to explain why you can't do it. But you know what? A little kindness never hurt. And you can say, thank you so much for thinking of me, for the opportunity. I have to pass, but thanks again. And that's that. That's it. That's a really fast email response. That's a really fast comment. When you see somebody, church is where most of us get stuck, I bet. When you see somebody coming up to you at church and you're like, oh, she's going to ask me to do something. This is your go-to. You cushion it with kindness. Thank you so much for the opportunity, but I have to pass. And you know what? And thank you so much for thinking of me. That really means a lot. Okay? And that's all you got to say. They might not like it, but you know what? That's not your problem. So the next way that you can say no is to give your reasons. So if you heard that first one and you're like, yeah, Dani, I really, really, really like the fact that I'm being kind when I say no, but I just feel like I need to explain myself. Okay, fine. Explain yourself, but you need to explain it in such a way that the person understands that you are literally just explaining this so that they know that your no is serious. So you can say something like, hey, thank you so much for the invite, but our family doesn't have the budget to attend that event right now. So you are thanking them, okay, and you are telling them, listen, thank you so much, but we don't have the resources for that to happen. And honestly, unless they want to contribute, there's not much they can say about that. It's not like they can tell you, oh no, your budget is fine, it'll work. Like, they don't know you. They don't know your life. So when you tell them something like that, then that's the end of the discussion. You gave them the reason why. You thanked them for asking, and you told them why it was not going to happen, at least not this time. And you know what? That's okay. I want you to understand that. I honestly don't give a reason because I don't really care to share my reason. But if you just really feel like you need to give a reason, that's a great way to do it. Now, you also want to be careful because you don't want to be sharing all your business with people. For that one, you can say like, that doesn't fit into our budget right now. But if it's another reason, like if somebody's, if somebody is dealing with a health issue or dealing with whatever, you don't need to disclose that. You can just say, thank you so much for that. But our family is in a place where we can't take on anything more than what we're already doing. And that is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That is honest. You are giving them as much as they need to know, and really what they need to know is the answer is no. The next way that you can say no is that you can leave the door cracked. So sometimes there's a it's kind of the net. It's not never, just not now. That kind of deal. So the way you can say this is you can say, listen, thanks, and I'd love to organize your event, but the timing for this year is just not good. So would you keep me in mind for next year? And you can even go a step further and you can say, listen, if this event is every May, then go ahead and put me down for May of 2021. I am there. I am your girl. And you can already get that on the schedule. So you're saying no for May of 2020 or for whatever the event is or whatever the issue is. But you're just saying, hey, listen, it's not a never, it's just a not now. And that's okay too. So you're not saying no. You're just saying, hey, give me a year, okay? And that's fine because that you're actually doing them a little bit of a solid because you're already taking off the concern that they need to have for finding someone to organize the event for the next year. It's already handled. You're already saying, hey, I'm going to put this into my schedule. I'm going to make this happen. It's not happening right now, but next year I am your girl. So, and that's also a nice way for you. You have a whole year to plan for this event. Now, if you are a procrastinator, that might not be the best thing in the world. But for a lot of people who are organizers of events, that's amazing that they have an entire year to ruminate, brainstorm, and come up with awesome ways to make make whatever event you were asked to organize or host or, speak at or whatever, the best that it can be. So I really like that one. And that's the one I probably use the most, besides, cushioning it with kindness, is that I usually try to tell people, like, listen, I'm saying I can't do it right now just because my schedule is pretty packed, but I would definitely love to be in your brain, in your schedule space for, the next time this event comes around. Please, please, please think of me, because it's definitely something that I would love to be a part of. It's just something that I can't do right now. The next way that you can say no, and this is one that probably a lot of you will have a hard time with, but it's okay because we need to be able to do it, is to be brief. You don't have to be mean, but just, be brief about it. And this is all you do. You say, sadly, I can't help with that right now. And that's it. That's literally all you have to do. You just have to say, I'm sorry, I can't help with that right now. And you don't have to give any other explanation. And like I said, not everything deserves or needs a big explanation. You're telling them you can't do it. The end. And you're not saying, no, I'm not doing it. You can just say, I'm so sorry, but I cannot do that right now. And that's it. That's really all you have to do. And that's all I have to say on that, because that's all there is to it. And the last way to say no, and this way is pretty, I like this one too. It's kind of hard in my area, in my field, because there's not a lot of people that do what I do and can take on, very specialized situations. But it could come up where you could just offer an alternative. You can offer an alternative person or an alternative program or an alternative whatever. I don't know. So you could say something like, well, listen, it's not realistic for me to meet for coffee and career advice, every single week as it stands right now. But my friend Marjorie, whatever, I don't have a friend named Marjorie. I just use that name Marjorie because I like the name Marjorie. My friend Marjorie is looking to take on more of a mentorship role. And I would love to introduce you to her, and maybe she can help you. So you're telling them, like, hey, I can't do that right now, but I'm going to take the extra step, and I want to introduce you to somebody who can do it for you. So even though you're saying no, you're helping them out, and you're making sure they have someone who fits whatever they need. And, sometimes that's just the way it has to be. Like, you're like, hey, I can't do it, but my girl Marjorie over here has got the hookup, and she's going to help you out. And listen, sometimes people are asking you because they don't realize there's another option. And I know this might hurt your ego just a teensy-weensy bit, but sometimes people are just honestly asking you because they don't know anyone else who does what you do. And if you can offer them, an alternative, they're not gonna be mad at you. They're gonna be like, oh, thanks, cool, all right, perfect. So now I have an alternative. You don't have to have the burden on you if you honestly can suggest someone who does what you do, or who's as good as you, or who's, sometimes, if you gotta admit it, who's better. You don't have to take on all of that work, and you don't have to feel bad if you can offer them another way to go about it. So just a quick recap, the 5 ways that you can, say no without actually saying no is, you can cushion it with kindness. Thank them. Be like, no, but thank them. You can give your reasons. If you really feel like you need to, go ahead, give your reason. But like I said, be careful about how much of your business you're sharing with other people. You can leave the door open. This is my favorite one, because you can just say, like, listen, I can't do it right now, but put me on the schedule for next time. I will be there. I'll be Johnny or Janine, I guess, on the spot. Be brief but not mean. I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. I think some people would say that maybe I'm brief in many facets of my life. I'm sure my husband would agree, but that is a way to shut it down. But you don't have to be mean. Just tell him, I'm sorry, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And then finally, can offer an alternative. There are other alternatives to you. Here's the big scoop. You don't have to take on everything. There are other people in the world who could handle what you're being asked to do. And it is totally okay for you to suggest the person, the asker, goes to one of those people. And in fact, one of the people that you suggest may love the opportunity to step in where you couldn't. So I hope those were really, easy and like they made sense to you, tips to use on how to say no. And I hope that you got something out of them. And if you did, please, please, please share this episode. Like I said, I always try to give things to you in, in a fun, easy, concise way that you can understand, that causes you not, you don't have to do anything else. Because I just read and I just posted it on the Taking Back You Facebook page, but I just read that, motherhood is the equivalent of having 2.5 jobs. And yeah, I get it. So when I'm talking to you about, things that you can do to make your life easier, I'm not trying to give you things that will actually make it harder, more steps, more whatever. So I wanted to, I try to make this as easy as possible. So if you know somebody who could benefit from what, I shared with you today, for the information that I shared with you today, by all means, share this episode, share the Taking Back You Momcast, and visit takingbackyou.com for more information about this episode, past episodes, and how you can be a part of our online community of moms. Because what we're trying to do over here at Taking Back You is to help you be a great mom, but also more than a mom at the same time. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a very happy Wednesday. It is March. Spring is just around the corner. If you are a longtime listener of the Taking Back You Momcast, you know I love me some spring. I am so excited. We are just a couple of weeks away, you guys, and spring is almost here. I think we're 18 days away? So it's like 2.5 weeks, right? So you guys, I can already feel it. The air is different. The birds are chirping. The sun is out. I'm so excited. I hope that wherever you are, your weather is, I don't know, at least it's not, I hope it's not freezing. And I do want to take just a moment to pray for the people in Nashville. They had a terrible storm overnight last night, a terrible tornado, and there were several fatalities and casualties, and so I just want to take a moment to pray for them, and they're in my thoughts. And Nashville, if you don't know, Nashville is my home away from home. That is our very favorite place to visit, and that is where our second home will be one day. We absolutely love Nashville, and so our hearts are broken for the city of Nashville and for the people of Nashville and for the families, and I just pray that you feel God's peace. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. For more information on Taking Back You and the Taking Back You Momcast, visit us at takingbackyou.com. From there, you'll be able to follow us on social media, listen to past episodes, and learn all about the mission of Taking Back You. Be sure to subscribe to get future episodes. And from all of us at Taking Back You, thank you so much for your support.